Animal Care, Unit 1, Animal Health. January 2018 paper. Which one of these is ectothermic, cold-blooded? So you're looking for a reptile. So you're looking for something like a tortoise, or a snake, or a lizard. The answer is a bearded dragon, a form of lizard. Which one of these is a fungus? Even though they all say worm, ringworm is not a worm. It's a round circular lesion, and it's made of a fungus on the skin. Which two animals produce a mixture of white urates, that's a form of solid urine, and dark feces? In other words, the urine is white with dark patches. Any reptiles produce that, and also birds do too. So it's C and D. A tapeworm. A tapeworm, so that's a worm that sits in the gut and the intestine. Well, it causes the stomach to bloat because it's sat in your intestine, and it causes diarrhea. A wingless, so something without wings. Arachnid is like a spider with 8 legs. The answer is a tick. Two signs of unhealthy eyes in rabbits. Well, you might see that the eyes are closed, or you might see that the eyes are weeping, or you might see that the eyes are injured, or you might see that the eyes have an infection. So probably your two main ones are weeping or infection, maybe injury, and eyes closed. Any of those four. VHD is a disease of virus in rabbits. It comes on quickly, often without any signs, is highly contagious and fatal. Signs that there's unhealthy ears in dogs, usually because they've got mites. So you might see little red spots of blood or mites, and usually you'd look for that if the dog was shaking its head or scratching its ears. Two procedures when an animal is placed in isolation on its own. So if it's placed in isolation on its own, you need to keep it secure away from other animals, and you need to make sure that you've washed your hands once handling it, being in with the animal. So keep it in isolation, and make sure you've done things like wash your hands and kept the accommodation clean. Maybe that would be another one to stop any disease spreading to another animal. Where do you take a pulse on a dog? Well, there are two main arteries where the blood flows, and you can tell then the pulse. C on the neck and D in the groin. A pinch test for dehydration. You pinch the skin and raise the skin, and then let it go and see how long it takes for the skin to return back to its normal position. So pinch and raise the skin and see how long it takes for the skin to go back to a normal position. It tests for dehydration if you're short of water. Why should a tick not be pulled out with tweezers? Because if you pull the body, it can detach the head. It can leave the head inside the skin. So whilst the tick is feeding, its biting parts, its mouth parts, are sucking blood and attached to the skin. And if you pull the body of the tick, the head comes off, and that can cause an infection. So a head can get detached, or a head can come off and cause infection. The two marks. Foot and mouth is a notifiable disease. That means you've got to inform the authorities, because it might be highly contagious spread. Other notifiable diseases are rabies, salmonella, bird flu. State 2 diseases that a goat should be vaccinated against. So one disease is one called ORF. That's particular to a goat. Goat gets ORF. It has scabs or sores in its mouth. And another one is tetanus. Tetanus is a disease that occurs in goats. One method of controlling the spread of disease in animals, one mark, probably the easiest, is to isolate them. So if you've got a diseased animal, you don't allow it to mix with other animals, you isolate it. One reason why an animal with roundworm may lose weight, for 2 marks. 1, the roundworm is eating the nutrients that should be for the animal. That's worth 2 marks, and so it's going to lose weight. Another one could be that the roundworm causes the animal to have diarrhea, and so it doesn't get as many calories. It doesn't get the nutrients and the calories it needs. So either you could say the roundworm is absorbing nutrients, taking the food away from the animal, or the roundworm is causing the animal to have diarrhea and lose weight because it's not getting enough food and calories. A piece of restraint equipment is shown in the image. Why the restraint equipment would be used on a dog? Probably because the dog is aggressive. For a 2nd mark, this long part, so where the animal's head would be placed in the noose and you would hold on to the other end, and the reason there's a long rod is to keep the dog at a safe distance from you, because if it's aggressive it's going to try and bite. So the 2 marks are the dog is aggressive and it keeps the dog at a safe distance from the handler. Why it couldn't be used on cats? It would strangle the cat. The cat would get strangled in this noose, its neck isn't as strong, it would get strangled and may die. 2 marks. Giving a dog a worming tablet, holding its mouth open, 4 marks. What do you do once you hold the mouth open? Well, you put the worming tablet at the back of the mouth to try and encourage it to swallow it. You close the animal's mouth, which again will encourage the animal to swallow it. You can rub the animal's neck, and again to encourage it to swallow it. So put the tablet at the back of the mouth to encourage it to swallow it. Close the mouth to encourage it to swallow it, or so that it doesn't spit it back out. Rub the neck to encourage it to swallow it if it's not already done so. 2 reasons why the dog should be monitored after receiving the tablet. 1, in case it's ill, in case the tablet causes some kind of illness or reaction, and secondly, in case it spits it out or vomits it back up. A stress response is to produce adrenaline, which increases the heart rate. 2 other stress responses, and we're looking for 4 marks. So what you would see and why it does it. So stress, it usually starts to run away from the handler, from the person causing the stress, to try and take the stress away. So it moves away from the person that it's frightened of to try and reduce the stress. Another one could be that it starts panting. That will increase its heart rate and get it ready to fight. Another one is that it could lose appetite. So again, it could lose weight, ready to fight. And another one is that it could open its eyes, widely dilate its pupils. That means let more light in to its eyes so that it can see the person that's causing it stress again if it needs to fight. I think the easiest marks are move away from the person causing it stress to try and reduce the stress, panting to increase its heart rate, ready to fight if necessary.